once you have employers at the center, then culture is clearly important. So maybe you can speak to that a little bit within these examples too.
Yes, I'd love to. Sometimes the rule is best explained by what is no longer the rule. Mm-hmm. And in the case of this kind of culture is king, it's revealed in examples, but what is no longer king is capital. Mm. Financial capital is not king. The public markets are not really growing. I mean, they're growing in, asset valuation, but that's like due to a handful of companies that dominate the market. Two examples, Spotify and Snapchat, when they went public last year, neither one actually raised $1 in the public markets. Their IPO was not really an IPO, it was just a listing. And they listed in the exchange, so their early investors had an exit out of their stock if they chose, and a way to realize maybe the value of a public market accounting of the value of those shares. But neither one either turned over, any kind of power to the shareholders, any voting power. Neither one raised a dime. The vast majority of companies never returned to the public market to raise money after the initial IPO. Why do we imbue capital markets with so much power over the corporation? Yeah. Our language, the attention we pay to the stock price, in the forecasting of, shares. And let's go to Rotman. I mean, Roger Martin's book, for gosh sakes, Fixing the Game. I mean, that was a powerful influence on my thinking. Mm-hmm. Roger came to Aspen for a couple of different meetings that we ran, and he deeply influenced my thinking about this kind of question that I do write about. It's one of the real blind spots on progress, is how we design executive compensation. So maybe we can come back to that. But this rule that it's really culture that defines a firm today, it is not, financial capital is not a scarce resource, and we definitely need an accounting of that. We need to kind of relax our supreme attention that we put, total shareholder return at the center of executive pay, that we continue to kind of beat the drumbeat of shareholders, even in the moment when, of course, the Business Roundtable a year ago said, we don't put shareholders at the center anymore. Yeah. We've redefined the purpose of the corporation. Yeah. That is.
I was just going to say, actually, I mean, it is really interesting how powerful that narrative continues to be just out there in the zeitgeist when you actually talk to executives and managers. They are very clear that they have a broader, that their mandate is much broader than that. I teach in the Graduate Education program at Rotman, and I think this is a difference actually perhaps between Canada and the US to some extent as to the power of that narrative. It's like on the very first day of the Director's Education program, there's a long discussion about, what are the responsibilities of the corporate director, and it's very clear, very fast, not just that not just as a classroom lesson that the mandate is broader, but that is really, felt very strongly by the people who are sitting there, who are the corporate directors.